Today we're going to look at SD 44.2, Chapter 2, Paviveka Sutta, Discourse on Seclusion, A3.92. The theme is on the nature of true spiritual seclusion. Right, so today the keyword is Paviveka. Now you can see the word Viveka there, which is a very important early Buddhist term. The keyword is Viveka, and the better known term actually is Viveka, which are usually translated as solitude. Okay? I have to say this because different people translate Pali words differently, and it's good to explain why we translate the Pali words in our way. Viveka, this is the shorter the word is, usually the older it is, the simpler it is, usually the older it is. Although not always the case, but that's the general rule. Viveka refers to solitude in the sense of letting go. You can talk about it in many ways. Yeah? In fact, today we'll be looking at some of these angles. You're already quite familiar with meditation. Like when we talk about meditation, we are letting go of distractions through the five senses. Right? What about keeping the precepts? Sila. Keeping the precepts, we are letting go of five unwholesome habits. So this is all a kind of viveka, a kind of distancing. Okay. So you see, viveka comes from the root which. From which you get viveka. Yeah? Now, in the case of Paviveka, you have this pa in front, which kind of strengthen the meaning or make the meaning a bit more special. But at the same time, in doing so, it kind of burdens, as if it burdens the word, because it's longer. So Paviveka usually is applied on a more worldly level, more general kind of seclusion. So for that reason, I translate Paviveka as seclusion, which can mean simply being by yourself. Whereas Viveka has got a mental aspect as well as spiritual aspect, as we will soon see. Okay? Alright, so there's a bit of introduction here. You can read on your own. I'll just kind of highlight a few points. In early Buddhism, we talk of various levels of viveka, normally coming in threes. The simplest idea to remember is the viveka, that means letting go, distancing, being more with yourself, becoming more self-reliant in three ways. For example, you can see here, even in the definition of the first jhana, okay, on section 122, quite detached from sensual pleasures. Okay? Detached from sensual pleasures. Vivicheva kamehi. So this is bodily solitude, because sensual pleasures have to do with the five senses. So we let go of that before meditating and during meditation. Then detached from unwholesome mental states. Notice, first is body, second is the mind. Here, vivecha akusalehi dhammehi refers to mental solitude, okay, mental aloneness. And then the third one, born of seclusion, vivekacha. That means all the five hindrances are gone. So, whenever you read the sutta passage, do not think that they're a bunch of words, and they're so difficult. First of all, you have to look for the phrasing, the sentence, or part of a sentence, and ask yourself, what does this refer to? And try to look for the pattern. There's always a kind of pattern. And the patterns refer to a kind of teaching, and the teachings will connect with each other. And I can tell you, over the years, especially if you spend your whole life studying the suttas, all these things become clearer. it becomes easier to understand. Okay? Now then we have 1.2.3. Okay, it's another kind of set of solitudes. It is the number one, solitude of the body. And here again we talk about keeping the precepts, right? Distancing ourselves from breaking the 5 precepts. And then number 2, mental solitude, Chitta Viveka. This is meditation. In fact, there are centers in Thailand they call Chitta Viveka. It's a very nice name for a meditation center. Now the last one is commentator, solitude from substrates. Here substrates can refer to any defilements that keep us in the what we call samsara, or can refer to the 5 aggregates. Okay, anything or the 10 fetters, anything that holds us back in this life, in other words. So this last one, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 actually. Solitude from the substrate. That means free yourself from all those defilements that pull you down, keep you stuck here. Now I missed one set, just one before that, 1, 2, 2, 3. The very similar set, 1 and 2 are the same. Number 3 is different. Number 3 is solitude by suppression. So you have bodily solitude, keeping the precepts, mental solitude, meditation. Solitude by suppression here means clearing away the 5 mental hindrances until the mind is focused, and then you get jhana. Okay, so these are different ways of talking about the 3 trainings, if you like, or meditation or Buddhist practice. Okay, and then there are 5 kinds of solitude. You can look at them a bit theoretical here, given in the commentaries. So let's look at the sutta, and I'll explain as we go along. Is it page 40? Okay, page 39. The Discourse on Seclusion, A3.92. So now this sutta is the traditional sutta. It's divided into 2 parts. The negative aspect and the positive aspect. Okay. Here again, in the Sutta Discovery, you find we divide it up very easy for you to see, easier to digest, so to speak. So the first part is called outside. It entitled "Outside Sectarian Views of Seclusion." But by the way, I've changed the translation from solitude to seclusion. So in your book, you find very often the word there is solitude, and I'll be reading the word seclusion. Okay. And then from section 2 onwards, seclusion, if you like, you can still use solitude, in the Buddha's teaching. Right? And then the sutta closes in section 3 with a parable. Okay? So it's quite very neat, very simple approach. In fact, the first section is the longest. Right? Because the Buddha is trying to explain to the monks, and of course to us today, what's the difference between the practice of the non-Buddhists who are observing all kinds of strange, strict practices. So, people are so easily inspired by anything different, right? People just love idea of difference, especially of power. So the Buddha is saying, okay, these practices they look strange and holy even, but they're not really helpful. Okay. So what are these practices? Okay. So in a sense, you can say the word seclusion, in this case, refers to the rituals and the practices of the sectarians, the wanderers, if you like. So here we have, for example, the seclusion of robes, seclusion of alms food, seclusion of lodging. Okay. Now let's read that part that I've explained. Section 1. Outside sectarian wanderers Bhikshus prescribe these 3 kinds of seclusion. What are the 3? The seclusion of robes, the seclusion of alms food, the seclusion of lodging. Okay. Now, if you are familiar with the Buddhist teaching of Viveka, you will say, "Oh, this is strange. How do they?" That's interesting that they apply this term onto things, because Viveka, seclusion, solitude, as we know, apply to us as active, living, conscious human beings. But here they apply to things. So what they're saying is, we are special, we are secluded because of these practices that we do, because of these rituals that we do. Now in sociology, according to Durkheim's, the French sociologist's ideas, he used the word to set apart. A holy man is someone who's apart from society. So here, these wanderers, they want to be different from others. Because if you really want to win followers, meaning you need support, and today you can see most of our monks are a little different from the wanderers actually, in terms of seeking support, in terms of being a career monk and so on. So they would need to show that they are special, unique, they are different, set apart from society by certain practices. So the Buddha says in this case, by their robes, by the way they dress, don't imagine just the monk's robe, it's just clothing, okay? And then the seclusion of alms food, the seclusion of lodging. In other words, they are different, they are unique, they have this identity, this legitimation, this authenticity, if you like, by, for example, the way they dress. We will find out in a moment how they dress. The kind of food they take, or the kind of food they don't take. And then the kind of lodging, the place they live in, okay, or don't live in, and so on. And then the sutta goes on to explain each of these three in turn. Now look at 1.2 now. 1.2 explains seclusion of robes. Here bhikshus, the outside sectarian wanderers, prescribe the seclusion of robes thus. They wear hem robes, right? This is quite rough, like ganisak kind of robes. Rough hem mixed robes, shrouds come from a dead body, dust heap cloth, tirita tree bark, this kind of tree bark, antelope hide, so you can imagine antelope has to die for it, strips of antelope hide, kusha grass ropes. And kusha grass are quite rough, by the way, they can cut, And then bark cloth, wood shaving cloth, human hair blanket, bristle blanket. Bristle is animal, sharp animal hair. Owl's wings garment. Okay? I don't think any one of us fancy using any of this kind of clothing. But whoever wears this look very different. Supposed to look very holy, right? So you can imagine, even in Singapore today, you can wear any of these kind of robes. People will flock around you because they see you as sources of power and blessing and so on. Because you are different. So the Buddha said this is the wondrous way of seclusion of robes. So they think they are different because they wear the robes. Okay, you're beginning to get the idea already. They are ritualizing this something which is spiritual. They are making something which is inside appear on the outside, externalizing. Okay, so in Buddhism we will always internalize, experience directly. Then the next one, 1.3, this is the second kind of seclusion. Here bhikshus, the outside sectarian wanderers, prescribe the seclusion of alms food. Okay, what kind of food do they take? They eat greens. In other words, they're vegetarians. Like today, because we have people who are vegetarians. They only take millet. They take wild rice. They take hide parings. In other words, animal skin. Of course, they have to beat it up or something. Water lettuce. These are like wild water plants. Rice bran is a rough kind of rice. Rice remnants, broken rice, sesame flour, grass, cow dung. Cow dung actually is simply fermented grass. Forest roots and fruits. Windfall. Okay, this is the original meaning of the word windfall. In other words, when the wind blows, fruits on the tree falls. Okay, so they don't pluck; they only take available fruits. So they're very strict in terms of food, right? So this is to impress the public how holy they are, right? The funny thing is, it's like an investment, you know. You impress people, people donate to you. No, then number 3, the third kind of seclusion. Here bhikshus, the outside sectarian wanderers, prescribe the seclusion of lodging, places where they live. Okay, this one you can say even the monks also share, okay, in this case. A forest, foot of a tree, a charnel ground, a jungle grove, the open air, a heap of straw, a threshing house. Threshing house where they, beat this paddy, freshly harvested rice. And why there is a place? Because they only use that house during certain seasons, certain months. At other times, the place is empty, so that these holy men, they seek permission of the families and they live there. Now, the Buddha is not against this kind of places. It's just that the Buddha says it's up to the monks. It's optional. Okay? In other words, what the Buddha doesn't want, he doesn't want the holy life of a monk to be defined by the place he lives in. It doesn't mean just because I live in a forest on the foot of a tree means I'm a holy man. It doesn't make sense that way, although many people think that way. Right? So this is what is meant here. Okay? So these are the 3 kinds of seclusion. So the Buddha is saying the wanderers, the non-Buddhists, tend to externalize this idea of seclusion. The idea of holiness is that's it, that's all they do. Or maybe there are some other teachings, of course, but this is the main thing to impress the public. Now we come to the second half, the Buddhist teachings, seclusion in the Buddha's teaching, section 2. But bhikshus, in the Dhamma Vinaya, teaching and discipline, there are these 3 kinds of seclusion for monks. So here the word with Paviveka also is used. So what are these 3 kinds of seclusion? Notice here the definition is less ritualistic. Here bhikshus, a monk is morally virtuous and immorality has been abandoned by him, so he is secluded. Remember I told you earlier just now in the opening, I said that keeping the precepts is a way of secluding yourself, keeping yourself away from 5 unwholesome actions, generally, if you like. Number 2, he is of right view and has given up wrong views, and so is secluded. So here means we seclude ourselves from wrong views, wrong ideas, personal knowledge and so on. He is one who has destroyed the defilements, having given up the influxes, and so is secluded. Okay. This is the higher seclusion, the Arhat. The Arhat has secluded himself, has put himself far away from the world. It's normal of the world. He's with the world but not of the world anymore. He's awakened, but he benefits the world through his wisdom and compassion. Bhikshus, in so far as a monk has got all these 3 qualities, is morally virtuous, he has right view, and he has destroyed the defilements. This monk, bhikshus, I call one who has attained the foremost. Okay, the key word here is the foremost, agapato. He has attained the essence of goodness. He is established, is purified, established in the essence of goodness. Okay, you have 3 things here. So if you like, you can interpret it this way. He attained the foremost of the holy life, of moral virtue, if you like. And number 2, essence of what? Essence of mental peace, if you like, samadhi. And then the last one is establishing the essence of wisdom. All these 3 aspects are there, complete. Of course, the last aspect also means awakening. It's included there. Then the Buddha uses a parable. Now here you see this is a parable of a plowman, a farmer, and we see this a kind of one interesting characteristic you notice is a progressive, gentle kind of movement. Suppose bhikshus, a house lord plowman's field of hill rice has ripened. Okay, hill rice, I think here refers to what we locally call pulot, glutinous rice. No? That house lord plowman would quickly harvest, right? So once the rice is ready, first thing is you will harvest it, because if you don't, birds will come and eat it, rats will come and eat it. Having quickly harvested it, he would have it collected. Having quickly had it collected, he would quickly have it transported. Okay? So now I'm going to simplify it. You just look at the keywords, alright? So after it is transported, then it is piled up. Right? And when it is piled up, it will be taken bit by bit to be threshed. And then it is removed. Okay? Here the what they call the grain is removed, if you like. And then you have the straw is removed. And then the chaff. The chaff is the husk, okay, it's removed, and then it is winnowed. In other words, other impurities is blown away by the wind, and then it is brought over, pounded, husked, in order to make it even more pure, and the rice is ready to be cooked. Now, what's interesting here, you see how the ancient Indians process their paddy. You see this even today. I remember when I live in Malacca, when we go into the villages, we still see this is going on. There's this big hill of paddy husks. I used to enjoy climbing up there. But you got to be very careful, because sometimes they just throw an ember into the paddy husk and the fire will burn inside, and you don't notice it outside. So you put your foot in, it gets burnt. So be very careful. So the moment you see a bit of smoke, a whiff of smoke coming up from this hill of paddy chaff, then you better not step in there, because there's fire, there's smoldering fire inside. So here you are. Notice the keyword, the words that's common throughout all these different stages is quickly. He doesn't waste time. He harvests all this paddy, rice, and then process them. Okay. Then what does the Buddha say? Even so, in this way, bhikshus, the houselord plowman's grain have attained the foremost. So here we're talking about the best kind of rice, the foremost type of rice, having attained the essence of goodness and established in the essence of goodness. So this is the best kind of rice. It's made that way. Now comes the Buddhist teaching. Even so, bhikshus, insofar as a monk is morally virtuous, and immorality has been abandoned by him of right view and has given up wrong views, one who has destroyed defilements, having given up the influxes, and so is secluded, this monk, bhikshus, is called one who has attained the foremost, has attained the essence, is purified, established in the essence of goodness. Okay, notice here, the Buddha is not using any technical terms. Now, in the volume 50, I mentioned this idea very often, that in the early Buddhist texts, there are very few technical terms, meaning the Buddha would use ideas which are widely known by the common people, and uses that and lifts it up to a higher level of spirituality. Okay, it's just like someone says, "Oh, I've put in some money in this investment and I've gotten lots of very great dividends." Right? Then a Dharma teacher may say, "Oh, that's wonderful. Now you're rich, so you must use this wealth and invest in the Dharma, live a good life, so that you're independent, you keep the precepts, and you teach the Dharma, print books, educate people, learn meditation, teach meditation, then you will yourself reap these even higher dividends of the spiritual kind." And this is the dividends that as you grow older, these dividends only grow. So there you are. Dividends is not a technical term, it's a borrowed word, but it's brought to a higher level of meaning. And not only that, it is something that common people can relate to. So the Buddha likes to use these kinds of terms. So here, the Buddha uses the terms which are familiar with the farmer, with the rice grower. In fact, with most people in Indian society at that time. So let's look at the overview of the sutta again. So the Buddha starts off by telling us that the outside sectarians, the non-Buddhists, they ritualize their robes, their food, and their lodgings. They use these externalities to promote themselves as holiness. They're using worldly things as holiness. Now there's a problem here, because if we do not practice the Buddha's teaching carefully, we may end up just like the sectarians also. For example, let's say if we, instead of practicing the Dharma, doing meditation, we give priority to, let's say, academic qualifications, getting a title, getting some dattowship even, with the idea that people will be impressed. Now, if you do that, then you have externalized charisma. You have externalized what is meant to be holiness. People will see the wrong way, are drawn to you, not because of the Dharma, but what they see as their own success, not even your own success. So then it's rather sad, isn't it? This is what the Buddha is gently warning us in the first part of the teaching. On the other hand, a true practitioner is one who gives up three things. Number one, he gives up the wrong ways in terms of body and speech. That's called moral virtue, right? Giving up wrong actions with the body, not to kill, not to steal, no such a misconduct. Wrong way of speech, avoiding lying and the wrong speeches. This is the first one, seclusion of the body. Then seclusion of the mind, letting go of negative thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, violent thoughts, and so on, wrong thoughts. Directing the mind to peacefulness, clarity, samatha vipassana, calm and insight. And with that calm and insight, we use to clear away other defilements. And then comes the third seclusion. That is the seclusion from the world itself. Okay? We can use the word freedom if you like, instead of seclusion. There's three kinds of freedom. So the Arahat is freed in this kind of way. So the sutta is quite easy to understand in this way, and this is another important reminder for us to follow the Buddha's teaching in a clear, direct and simple way, not be lost in the world, even today. So I'll stop here for a while and open this discussion of questions.
For the trashing house is empty. The stated of it is empty.
Yes. Yeah.
It means all are empty.
Okay, you imagine a big hall.
Okay.
Usually made of wood in those days, even today in India. But nowadays there are modern ones that use concrete, I suppose. They need the space. So you have groups of people, there'll be paddy there, and then they will thresh, they'll beat it, and the little grains will come out, rough grains. So it depends, maybe if they do double cropping, only twice a year, right? Other times the hall will be empty. Even when they thresh, then again they don't use it the whole day. At night it's free, so sometimes the holy man will go there at night, or go during the rainy seasons. There's no threshing, so they'll stay there in the rainy season. So it's just nice, the timing. That's the threshing house. There's a famous threshing house in Atuma, which is mentioned in the Paviveka Sutta, where the Buddha stayed for a while. And it is said that there was a very big thunderstorm, and the Buddha just went on meditating undisturbed. My two cats, when the loud thunderstorm bang, they run and hide underneath, you can't find them anywhere. Whereas the meditator just sit quietly. Okay, it's amazing, it's wonderful to meditate during thunderstorms. Then after that, in a thunderstorm, a couple of farmers were killed, some cattle were killed also, and people were gathered together wondering what's going on. And then when the storm was over, people asked the Buddha, "Did you hear all this thing?" The Buddha said, "No, I didn't hear anything. What happened?" So it's a famous story of the threshing house at Atuma. Close with a short reflection. It is not easy to know the suttas. It is even more difficult to be able to hear the teachings so that we can understand them. It is even more difficult to practice all these teachings. And most difficult of all is to gain the benefits, the fruit of all these teachings of the Buddha. But all this is possible if we start very humbly from the simple idea of looking within ourselves. And the sutta is trying to tell us just that. What is within us? Mind and matter, to investigate all this and see the true reality of our being, and from there the pathway to awakening opens to us. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. Let the power of such good karma, let us aspire, or let us hope that we will have the courage and wisdom to aspire to attain at least stream winning in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, let us send out our loving kindness to all our loved ones, people we care for, to the Dhamma practitioners, that they may be well and happy, that they are not faced with challenges and hindrances, but they can overcome them easily, and see the Dhamma in this life itself. And to those who have difficulties with the Dhamma, who are lost, who are also teaching the wrong Dhamma, may they turn to the right way, may they see the true Dhamma in this life itself too. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.